Well, that's pretty much how it worked for me. Oh, welcome back, by the way, everyone. You know, I really like the Scar, but it's a little bit out of my price range. So when I saw that there was a company out there making a 22 clone of it for under $500, I had to get one. And here it is. It feels really good in the hands with the exception of the stock. The stock is plastic, and it gets a kind of a wiggle action going on back here. And it, as you can hear, just sounds really hollow and fake, if you will. But it does have the adjustment. Well, let's stick with the good stuff for now, right? Shall we? So it does have the adjustment there for length of pull. It has an adjustment here for cheek weld, if you're going to use optics or not. It does fold, so we can fold it and latch it on the other side right there. And it also comes with a rear and front flip-up sights. It's a post and a peep sight here in the back, but when it's folded down, it has the normal blade and front sight. I really don't see how you could use this. I could never get my face low enough in order to use these sights. So using it up and using them in the flipped up position is the best way for me to use it. Of course, I put one of my Seymour scopes on here left over from an ISSC open gun. But what I thought was really cool about this gun, other than the overall looks of it, is the charging handle. The charging handle, I have it mounted way up here at the front, but you can actually pull this out and you can put it in this hole or this hole. So you can move it all the way back or forward, and you can do it on both sides. I'm right-handed, so I like the charging handle on the left side, and I like it up front. That way when you're shooting, you got your foregrip on there, you can just reach up and rack the slide, in my case when this gun jams, about every other shot. Unlike the real Scar, I believe the real Scar does this. It cycles. When it cycles, this whole bolt moves backwards. This 22, this does not cycle. So if you could rest your thumb right up against that if you wanted to, and it's not going to swing back and hit you. So that's a nice little feature. The rails on this are a hardcore plastic. It's got rails all around it. I mean, it's kind of cool. The only thing I really put on it was a foregrip. It's got a cast, faux looking gas block up here. There's a sling mount on either side next to the gas block. On the back, there's a couple of rings back here for slings. There is another one back here, and there's another one right here for an attachment I believe you have to buy separately. The rear, going back to the rear and the front sights, they're a cast material. A lot of the metal on here is cast. It's not machined like the stuff you get on the aftermarket AR-15 parts. The lower portion here is all plastic. The pistol grip is not interchangeable. Unlike the real Scar, you can remove it and put something else on there if you wanted a mag pull or a saw type handle. This one does not do that. The safety, it's a little cheesy. I really wasn't too fond of the safety. It's also plastic as well. It reminds me of an airsoft gun, and the trigger is incredibly spongy. Didn't really care for that. There is a little compartment here in the stock, or in the pistol grip rather. There is a magazine safety in this thing. I hate those. You know what? If I shoot myself in the foot, it's my own fault. Don't try to save me from doing something stupid for myself. The barrel itself, this is a shroud around an internal barrel, and so we can unscrew the flash hider up here, and then you have the barrel inside. Let's see if I can show that. So it wiggles around here. I'm not sure how this is actually going to affect accuracy. I mean, this does tighten it up a little bit, but it's still pretty loose. To tell you the truth, with me and all the malfunctions I had on this gun, I really never shot it for accuracy. I was lucky just to get it to function for me. But I'll talk more about that in a minute. So the malfunctions I had on this were mostly smokestacks. It was a failure to eject the round out of the chamber. It would put another round in the chamber, and most of the time, and I couldn't get it to run. And I ran 5, 6, 7 types of ammunition on various trips to the range, and I just couldn't get it to work. So I called up the manufacturer here in the States, and I was looking at Recoil Springs, because this gun here uses a double recoil spring system on the bolt, and it seems overkill to me, but then again, I'm not a real gunsmith. So I was thinking that possibly this bolt, in order to get it to go backwards, is just too much. It's oversprung, if you will. So I thought, you know what, if I get a couple extra springs, I'll cut them down, reduce the tension on it, then maybe my ammunition will run, because to me it looks like the bolt is not flying all the rearward, enough rearward in order to get that empty out of the way. Of course, it could be the ejector. But anyways, ISSC here in the States recommended me sending the gun in, so I sent the upper. They didn't want the lower for some reason. They wanted just the upper. And this is after they told me to tighten up some screws on the inside of the bolt, inside in the chamber here. And I'll roll some footage in of that. Here on the upper, I'm told, with my misfires that I'm having, it's basically a failure to extract. It's almost like I'm using a real powder puff load, and it's causing me some issues. I spoke to the ISSC guys here in the States, not Austria, and they were telling me that there was 2 screws in the back that sometimes get loose, and they said tighten those screws up and see if that alleviates the problem. So you can kind of see that one that's I guess nice profile shot with the camera. It appears to be backed out some. After I tightened up those screws, which definitely were loose, it still would not work. So that's when I sent it to ISSC for service. About a month later or so, they sent it back to me with a note saying they adjusted the headspace and recommending only CCI Stinger and a couple other brands that I didn't have, but I figured this here is probably the best 22 ammo I think you can get. So I went out and I tried shooting it, and it didn't work. And they even sent me a brand new magazine, because I called them up and thought, what if I had a magazine issue? And so they gave me a brand new magazine, which was nice of them. So I have 2 magazines for this gun now, and it still doesn't work even with the high dollar Stinger ammo. The screws coming loose inside the action kind of disturbed me a little bit, because you know, if they keep coming loose, the guy told me to put Loctite on it. I thought, shouldn't you have done that when it left the factory? But anyways, I did. I put Loctite on it, and it still didn't work, as I mentioned. But there was other screws coming loose. The screws on the rails were coming loose, and the screw. This is pretty sad. I was in the garage, and I was pulling the rifle out of my gun bag, and I grabbed it by the stock back here. So I was pulling it out of the bag like this way, and the stock came off in my hand, and the gun hit the ground, hit a chair in the garage, and scratched up the paint. I don't mind getting scratches on my guns, but not when it's something stupid like that. And I'm basically standing there holding this part of the stock in my hand. There's a screw on the ground. Like, what? So this thing is like rattled apart on me, and I haven't even shot maybe 60 rounds through it, and half of those rounds are duds. So this screw right here on the butt, let me see if I can show that. It came out, and the whole stock just came right off. So that kind of chapped my hide there a little bit too. Not to mention the flexing here. Let me show you with a screwdriver. That's, you know, this is a hinged stock, but there's a hinged pin in there. I haven't done anything to this pin other than wiggle the stock back and forth, and that pin is already coming out. And that's it. I mean, the stock just came off. Over time, vibrations, carrying it, shooting it, I noticed this sucker here was just backing out. So the next thing you know, your gun's gonna be apart. So I am not that impressed. I think it looks cool, but I'm just not that impressed with everything so far. This screw back here was loose as well when I got to it. But for me, I thought I had a winner here. You know, I thought I had basically a gun that was out of my price range, finally in my price range, and very inexpensive to shoot, but highly disappointed in it. So in conclusion, I'm not satisfied with this gun whatsoever, and it's probably going to go up for sale here pretty soon. Well, thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more competition shooting and gun reviews. Thanks.